And we are live with Code Vein, which is incredibly loud in my ears. I hope it's not too loud in yours, because holy crap, I can just barely hear myself think. So, Code Vein. I am going to be completely honest, I have played this game before. To a point. I've played the game up to the cathedral. I think it's the cathedral of something, Sacred Blood or something like those lines. I've played it up to here twice. I will get into more detail as we go. So for now we're going to do a new game. I will talk over the cutscenes, mostly because they're in Japanese, and the English voice acting for this game is, I would not call it particularly great in my opinion. No, normally this is probably the part of the game that would take the longest. But I already have a solution for that. This character. I made her a while ago. I'm going to do a few more customizations because there's some stuff I wanted to add as I played. Which one? Yeah, it's going to be accessories. Oh. This is I roughly know what I want to do with it. I'm just not sure. This one. Let me just edit this one a little bit first. I wanted to make it less of an angle. She's not going well. That's a good thing about being able to do that. I kind of wish you could change the camera angle while editing things. Can't really do that. Alright. Now. You can't duplicate. Hmm. Okay, I need this one. I don't want the little pawn thing that goes to the side to be on the same side as the other one. So that's what. Should look pretty good once it's colored. Mm-hmm. Hmm. This is exactly why I decided I would do the character creation offline, because I knew this would just go over and a half. this one. This- That should do it. Snake. You know what? That's not exactly what I wanted, but good enough. I'm not gonna try to go harder than that. Which good enough. It's not perfect, but good enough. Also, now that the game is not blaring like the loudest music known to man, despite the fact that it's not actually that loud. Oh boy. Hi. I did some testing. It looks like it was doing fine on my other save where I've been like going through the game a little. That isn't supposed to look like this. Huh. Hold on, let me... Okay, that was kind of really bad for a second, but... Right, so now we have the actual graphics of the game. Okay, I did not realize... I was in an area where the lighting was actually not that bad, and I did not realize it did not like direct capture. Okay. Okay. So far you have not missed much because I'm just going through the game. And I'm using the Japanese voice acting because English voice acting is not that great. Let me skip. Oh, you actually can skip the tutorial. Alright, I did not realize you could just skip the tutorial. And so, like I said, let me just Games audio just a smidge, just in case. Hello, Tits McGee.
おかえりなさい。気分はどうですか?
Yes, skipping for me. Because I've just skipped. So this is something I had not realized with this game, or that I could not remember from this game. It's not what I would call lewd, but there is a lot of male gaze.
覚えていないのです。あちらです。乾いていますね。
It is an annoyingly large amount of male gaze in his game.
ゆっくりで構いません。そばにいますから。
I'm not one to mind it, but at some point even I was going, wow, you're being a bit much, you know that. So how's the audio right now? I hope it's not too loud.
血の泉が乾きを癒します。
I'm also worried it's quite quiet.
どこも皆乾いている。泉に実る血の涙が乾きを癒す。そう聞いていましたのに、こちらへ。
She is totally not sus at all.
大丈夫。大丈夫。
And yes, I went with a bunch of customization to make my character look definitely not human. She has horns, a fucked up arm, and her face is just broken and light seeps through.
やはりあなたは。
Whatever she is, she's freaky, but
さあ、どうぞこれを。
新たな泉と労働力、どちらも確保だ。今日はついてるぜ。立て、楽しいお仕事の時間だ。
I think I forgot my graphic options.
もうすぐ血類の実を探しに。
I think it did.
早く準備をしろ。
お目覚めかい？おっと静かにな。お連れさん、さっき眠ったところだ。お前さんたち、マスクはどうしたんだ？お前さん、そんなことも覚えてないのか？知りたければ教えてやるが、まずは奥へ行って浄化マスクをつけな。まずは奥へ行って浄化マスクをつけな。
Last time I played this, I did not talk to the people in this little cell, but you actually can.
見つかるわけないのよ。血類なんて。この辺りの宿り木もどんどん枯れてる。そのせいで正気は浄化されずたまるい。見つかるこの後、こんな中で血類を探せなんて無茶よ。
お前も俺を殺すのか？心臓さえ潰れなきゃいいって憂さ晴らしをするのか？もうやめてくれ。体は死ななくてもとっくに心は死んでるんだよ。何回も何回も死んで正常でいられるわけがないだろう。
They are not having a good day.
家族を俺から奪うな。もう何も持ってないんだよ。
上のやつら、何が野良だってんだ。安全な保護区暮らしだろうが。あいつらの血税のために俺たちは命を危険にさらして血類集めだ。俺は諦めねえ。いつかあいつらを奴隷にしてやる。
So I'm pretty sure that in the translation, thrall is kind of just slave.
変わり映えしない景色よね。クイーン戦が終わって故郷に帰ろうとしたらこの霧だもの。近づけば狂っちまうほどの痛みに襲われる。おかげで誰もこの霧の向こうに行けない。どこにも帰れないのよ、この牢屋を出ても。
Oh, we are right next to the mist.
くそ。なんだよ、見てるなよ。
This guy has not had this fix in a while.
仕事の時間だ。
上の連中、お前さんをご指名らしい。待たせるだけ待たせてやればいいさ。そんなことよりマスク似合ってるじゃないか。俺たちレブナントはそれなしじゃ簡単にロストに落ちちまう。くれぐれも気をつけな。さて、何から話したもんかな。
Tell me everything, Mr. Exposition.
上の連中に言わせれば、血類集めのための労働力を買っておくための場所。さしずめ奴隷小屋ってとこだろうよ。
Wait, no, they do. You just use slave as a word. I thought it was some weird censorship thing, but no, I guess they just use fall as a word for some reason.
一度死んだってのに叩き起こされちまった元人間。それが俺やお前さん、レブナントさね。心臓さえ無事なら何度だって蘇る代わり、 人の血をすすらなければロストに落ちちまう人造の怪物だ。大崩壊を引き起こした化け物どもと戦うはずが、今や落ちちまった同族と戦うばかりってのは皮肉な話だよな。俺たちは死ぬたび多かれ少なかれ記憶を失っちまう。大抵は大したもんじゃないんだろうが、失ったことにも気づけやしない。ま、今のお前さんみたいなのは珍しいけどな。血の渇きに耐えかねたレブナントの慣れの果て、正真正銘の怪物だ。俺たちは心臓をやられれば灰になって二度と蘇れないが、ロスとは違う。心臓破壊しようがお構いなしだ。何度もやられれば復活に時間がかかるようになるのは俺たちレブナントと同じみたいだがな。ここら一帯の空気には血の渇きを加速させる成分が含まれてる。俺たちは正気と呼んでいるが、そいつから身を守るためのもんだ。宿り木ってのがあれば周囲の正気を浄化してくれるんだがな。近頃じゃ血類の泉同様枯れる一方だ。
I'm pretty sure he's the only guy who just explodes dumps like
外
this.
す場所はよくよく考えな。
And
正気を浄化して無毒化してくれる植物のようなもんで、クイーン計画の成果物の一つだって話だ。枯れちまってもクイーンの力作られた薬があれば活性化させられたんだがな。今じゃ望むべくもね。もし生きた宿り木を見つけられたら探索の助けになるだろうよ。
Alright, so now we leave. Once I can access my setting, I turn V-Sync back on. Because for some reason, it's not on.
ここも枯れたか。正気が濃くなっているな。くせん、次の徴収まで時間がないってのに。
準備完了しました。
ああ、すぐ行く。ふん、枯れているのはこいつらも同じか。
そうです。枯れてますから。こんな正気の中での探索は無茶です。今日は
これが何かわかるな。
血類だろ。
そう、この血類を今から探してきてもらう。この先の地下道でな。血税の徴収日まであと少しだが、今の俺たちに余分な血類なんてない。このままじゃ血も涙もねえシルバの犬どもに身ぐるみ全部剥がされちまう。まあそういうわけだ。
なんで僕たちがそんなこと。
文句があるなら、血税なんてクソみたいな制度を作ったシルバー様に直談判でもするんだな。
まずはお前らだ。さっさと動け。
ダメだ、みんなを巻き込んでしまう。今は従うしかないよ。
次。
おっと、お前は俺たちと留守番だ。戻ったら返してやる。回収した血類と交換にな。最近はここらにもハンターが出るそうだ。全滅だけは勘弁してくれよ。
Complete dicks, those guys.
さっさと行け。
えいっておい、大丈夫か。ここから上に戻るのは無理か。帰りは別の道を探さないとな。あ、俺オリバー・コリンズって言うんだ。よろしくな。
Happy to meet you, Oliver. I'm sure we'll be friends for a long time together. See settings. Setting.
じゃあ 行こうか。
The sync is on. So we start with two weapons. One of them is absolute trash. This one it does 44 damage. The other one does a bit more damage.
ロストの死体初めて見た。ああ、死体って言ったけど、これは死んでるんじゃなくて、ロストがもっと凶悪な化け物の姿になる前の休眠状態だってね。変化が始まるまで何年もかかるやつもいるみたいだから、放っておいていいと思う。
Big stop. Honestly, until we find an actual weapon, we're not doing anything.
生き残るためなら何でも使わなきゃ。
It's all going to be Oliver doing the
落ちな
damage.
いでくれよ。
It does like triple my damage. It's incredibly funny. I'm reasonably sure you can actually use those weapons until the end of the game if you want, but I would not.
中身は何だろう。
Finally, something good. So, the normal axe is probably one of the best weapons.
どっちに行けばいいんだろう。
In terms of doing tons of damage, I found so far. It was a very simple moveset, but it has a fair amount. I'm going to lower the game sound. I think 100. Okay, that explains a lot. I think somehow it lost all of my preferences at some point. Because I definitely remember not putting the game so loud. So I wonder what was I saying? Oh yeah. It has a pretty decent moveset. That it's relatively quick swipes. Which, honestly, it's pretty good. Since it does quite a bit of damage and will hit close by enemies in a good arc in front of you. And yet the heavy attack is big slam or big sweep. I tend to use it more for the big slam than the big sweep. My favorite part about the strong attack is probably this. It has a pretty good amount. Yes. Yeah. Huh. I didn't know you could just launch enemies.
これは落ちたら大変だ。
But what was I going to say? Oh, right, so the heavy attack, the charge heavy attack, I should say, has a fair amount of forward momentum.
中身は何だろう。
So when you use it a bit away from the enemy and they detect you, usually they're just going to run to your.
説得力ないよね。
It was not.
このマスク旧式だからかな。ちょっと息苦しくって。君こそ大丈夫？
I'm doing fine.
あの女の子、仲間なんだろ？血類を見つけて、早く迎えに行ってあげないとな。
What was I saying? Yeah, so usually I just let an enemy detect me, and then they run into my attack. And yes. Except, you know, they actually run into it and don't wait for me to do my attack. I really hope the other type of I really hope the other type of weapon I really like is going to drop. For the most wait. So on the mini-map you can see a cross. A tiny little cross, and that means there is an item. And it's kind of annoying to go around, realize, oh wait, I've missed an item somewhere. Thankfully we have not, and have to go back. It's annoying, but it's nice as well, because you do get to know, oh no, you did miss an item. And just so the game isn't super easy, you need to find those lower things in order to map out an area.
中身は何だろう。
There's two types of them, a missile rest like this and a mapping missile like this one, which is another stuff. I have not. Right, okay, so I do need. Right, so I'm going to explain the blood boons and everything real quick, because I skipped the tutorial. You can obtain, you have like blood gifts, which are your class, sort of your job crystal. Depending on what you have equipped, it's going to affect a lot of things, your HP, your stamina, your strength, which is going to affect your scaling, that kind of stuff. It also affects what sort of gifts you have, gifts being just your character's ability to, like, special skill, that kind of stuff. You can, by murdering a bunch of enemies, you will gain experience for your gift, and you will master that gift. Once a gift is mastered, you can use with any class. For the most part, the one I have equipped right now, Fighter, is just a jack of all trade. It does everything fairly decently. I don't think Yeah, it has B, B, C, D, B, D, D. It's relatively tough, but it's not amazing or anything. Ranger has Fortitude. I think it has a bit more defense as a result. Vitality is your health. But for now we have the most basic... Oh wait. The most basic codes, and they're not great. However, I do want to just master fighter immediately. Ow. There we go. Oh, right, that's something I wanted to mention. So now that we've mastered everything in it, we can just switch to Ranger and Caster. This is probably something I'm going to do quite a lot. Switch to every... Brain, please. Every code in order to master every single gift. I don't know, since mastering a gift usually it requires defeating enemies. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to master them all on stream. There's a decent chance I'm just going to murder enemies off stream in order to farm the gift experience, just so people don't have to suffer through it with me, because it can get quite annoying. That being said, each code has a certain amount of gifts. Most of them are not unlocked at the start. Haze is basically your soul and whatever. No, we just need... Not going to for this one. Yes. So now that I've changed, you do have to equip the ability in order for it to gain experience. If it's not equipped anywhere, it will not gain any experience, which is a bit annoying. But now that I do have mastered the health boost from the fighter, I can just equip it. And same with the focus stamina usage, but I will not. Stamina focused stuff is not super useful in my opinion. I'm gonna stay on the Queen Slayer. The Blue Hound is a... These are both your armor and your special attacks. And Blue Hound, well, it does have a bunch of resistances. I don't think it's much better than the Queen Slayer overall for now. And now we can see that since I don't have the required strength, which is C+, I can't use the Hammer of Thraldom anymore. Instead, I'm just going to use the Last Bayonet. So the thing I wanted to say, and I kept forgetting to say, that for the most part, if an enemy is using a weapon, you can
飛び降りたね。中身は
you can farm it up. You can bully them into dropping the weapon at some point.
ここじゃ不利だ。
No, we are not. We had an advantage. One thing of note, however, is that, as far as I know, you can't get a shield. Because that's not anime enough. And this is probably one of the most useful and useless ability of the game. It tells you how many weapon items there are
さっきの
around.
人じゃないか。
If there are more than 10, they just say, oh, there's a bunch.
どうしたどこか怪我でも。ついてないな。少し休んでから行くよ。大丈夫だって。いいから、ほら。君は血類を探さないと。あの子が待ってるから。
Oliver is not surviving this.
大丈夫だって。いいから、ほら。君は血類を探さないと。あの子が待ってるから。
Which unfortunately is going to get into something that I found very annoying my first time around. Bonk. Ow. I have not claimed to be good at this game. He really was, yes. The only reason why he dies is because he was way too nice to you and everyone else. Till recently, we only had weird humanoid things. Now we have a weird giant humanoid thing with a snout. Which means all revenants are secretly elephants. So the awake stuff is I'm gonna try battling him again. What was I going to say? Yes, so the awake items are stuff you can ow, you can spend in order to wait. Be down. Oh yeah, no, it was definitely going to try and... You mean the big guy or the small guy? Because the big guy is set up perfectly so you can walk in on him right here and not get ambushed. Unlike those boxes over there, which are totally not hiding a monster. I don't know what you're talking about. It's absolutely nothing behind them, I swear. Yeah, see, there was nothing behind them. Except monster. Ow. Yeah, so the big guy now, he's kind of supposed to be... This is a different path forward, but you're kind of supposed to see his back, decide to go for a back attack and keep going. That sort of stuff. And see, this game does not have weird enemies behind boxes trying to attack you. They would never. Oh no! Alright. I was trying to say something, but I don't remember what. Oh yeah, the awake thing. So, awake items are... How? Are going to be items you can spend in order to master your... Hey, you're supposed to do a falling attack here. In order to master your abilities without just murdering monsters. But it's kind of annoying in the sense that only a certain type of gift, in terms of some awakes can only be used for some gifts and so on. Normally I would rest here, but we have somebody we can talk to here. Shockingly, despite the fact they mentioned the hunter, he's nice.
お前も探索者か。どうやら一人みたいだな。俺も今回は一人で探索を行っていたのだが、この先に進むのに連れ合いが欲しかったところだ。どうだろう。今回の探索が終わるまででもいい。同行しないか。騙して襲うような真似はしない。安心してくれ。こんな正気が濃く、ロストがうろつく場所で争ったりしないさ。
Yeah, let's go together.
短い間だがよろしく頼む。
And now we get something that I kind of found annoying. So first, we're going to go back to our buddy Oliver. Okay. Okay, so the game just gives you a gun as a weapon. It's not a very good gun, and uses blood as ammo, but it gives you a gun. And most of its attack moves are actually pretty decent. The main issue it has, in my opinion, is that it does no stagger at all. The only way to do any kind of stagger or damage is to shoot bullets with it. Which, you know, does just kind of make sense, but... yeah. And here's a bit that's annoying. about the game, or at least the intro of the game.
大丈夫だっていいからほら君は
Oliver is still here. And even with a stranger whose name is Louis, it's not exactly a spoiler, they tell us in not even 10 minutes. Louis' character would 100% be trying to help him. So the fact that they just didn't make Oliver disappear or something along those lines is kind of annoying, because bringing Oliver there does nothing when you'd think there would be some kind of interaction. I don't know why, it just annoys me to no end for no reason. I know it doesn't actually matter that much, but it just couldn't at least try.
遠くにロストがいるこの場所では不利だな
Huh. Yeah, he really did. Poor guy. So what happened here is very rare. As far as I can remember, it's the only area in the game I've seen so far where it does this. So I've played this game multiple times, but multiple times, twice. The first time when it came out, right after it came out, and the second time before deciding, hey, you know what, I'm actually just going to stream this. And both times I stopped at the cathedral area. So if I wanted to, I could, instead of killing enemies, decide to max out in order to get this immediately. It would cost me 280 monies and somehow awake. I'm not, because the starter gifts just cost nothing to get. Learn everything. Time to be a wizard. For really not that long, because the wizard class is, at least this one, is not great. I would even go so far as to say it's kind of crap. It has very good gifts, but it's not... In terms of stats and everything else, it's not amazing. Big fireball. Which is why I like that that one. Big fireball. So you can just go down this way and fight everything, but you can also... Oh wait, no. I'm here. Check something. Let's stay on my thing for now. You can just go into the fight like from that way, or you can just not. Which, yeah. The game is rather peculiar in that you never not, you don't really ever go alone into fights and everything. You always have a companion, which I honestly appreciate because that's how the game is supposed to be played. So they've done quite a bit of work out in order to accommodate it, which include the ally being able to just regen you. However, it's still an AI ally, and they're particularly dumb, as you could see from him not going down in order to help me fight this giant monster. He certainly didn't stab me in the back, but he was not particularly useful either. And now for the funniest part in the entire intro section, where you can tell that this was just... So this section here was the demo of the game. And they changed exactly nothing between it and the main release, from what I remember of it. Which is probably where a lot of my issues come from. But this is probably one of the funniest part of it once the plot actually gets going. Your character just resurrects this thing, which is an incredibly, huge deal. No one else can do this. You just show up, you bleed a little on it, and suddenly it's fixed. And this guy says nothing about it. There's no cutscene, there's no dialogue about it, with him going, "How did you do this?" Well, there is that, but you would expect a bit more from him and everything else once you know his deal. I do realize part of the reason why there's no cutscene here is because with him is just in case you decided to tell him, no, I don't need help, in which case he just isn't here to react. But I do feel like something more should have happened. And so we've now left the creepy cave. We're back in the creepy, broken down parking lot. Slayer blade. Speed Slayer. It is boss in almost every conceivable way for this.
ここで襲われたらまずいな。ここでは回避が難しいぞ。
Get down from here. I disagree, though. The Queenslayer blade is, well, fair, actually. It's probably a lot better. It's still terrible. Oh wow, that's really bad. Granted, this sword is apparently super heavy and makes you real slow. Something I do appreciate about the game is that you can just switch load codes on the fly like that. It's honestly pretty neat. Hi. Ah. Yeah, I don't know why, but the stream is super delayed on my end for today. I'm not entirely sure why. But yes, that is indeed an upgrade. Instead of potential non-man-made or beyond my comprehension, I have definitely now that I can see are definitely man-made and they're called for space management. Oh, nice. Hi. I remember this guy. So now that I've mastered everything, I'm just going to go back to fighter. Okay, so in the hands of the fighter, yeah, no, the Lost Broadsword is definitely not amazing. The hand of rather the Queenslayer blade is definitely not that amazing. It does attack a lot faster though, so there's that. Anyhow, so unfortunately, as a fighter, you can't use. Oh, excuse me. You can't use Blazing Roar or Bloodshot, which I mean, it makes sense, but it's annoying because those are very good damage spells. Instead, I am going to equip Sonic Arrow. The thing that's nice about Sonic Arrow is that it does nothing in terms of damage. However, it can very easily pull enemies. And get them down from the ceiling. It also has a lot more range than just the gun, which is something I didn't mention. The guns are nice, but they have fairly limited range overall, so I don't use them all that much. Yeah. It's more or less the equivalent of just throwing a dagger at an enemy. It does a bit more damage than just a dagger, but it's basically that. I will probably come back later and see if I've missed any item, but I think we're good. Which, yes, I did grab this. So, I haven't used it because I'm dumb, but Regen Extinction Factor is something, it's an Ester shard, you can just use it wherever, whenever. But I will say I do not like... I don't super like this game's regeneration and stuff. Give me a second, I'm going to... sneeze attack. I don't love the regeneration for a few reasons. Mostly, H3 doesn't heal a lot. Oh hey, here's our buddy. I wonder how he's doing. I'm sure he's fine. Those ravens dying randomly is totally not his fault, I swear. Oh, Oliver.
ロストに落ちたやつ二度と元には戻らない迷いは捨てろ
And I think all of this could have been avoided if we went to the stranger and asked him, do you have a spare mask for my pal, or... Oopa. There we go. And her is very fat. Oh, I forgot how long he could hold that. And also that he could just turn 360 on you. Mao. Nice! First boss and we're already dead.
心臓が無事でよかった
I forgot I had my Super Smash skill. Which actually does quite a bit of damage. If you actually remember to use it. I think I don't quite have the right skill set for... Wait, I'm level 1, aren't I? I am. No wonder he kicked my ass. So unfortunately this game does not do the thing that more recent Dark Souls and Souls-like game do, where either you get some amount of souls depending on how far you've been able to get into the fight, or it allows you to just have your stuff on the outside of the fight. Like if I go in there, I am fighting him and I can't grab my stuff back. So instead, I'm reasonably sure I could just murder him as a tester, just being more careful and using more spells. But instead I'm just going to level up. From what I remember, leveling up does not get rid of your haze marker, and if it does, well, too bad. I guess I'm missing out on a bunch of haze. Ah. Well, my haze is still here, but I'm only level 2. Dang. I think it was like 800 for second level up. I'm reasonably sure last time I played this I was level 5 when I beat him up. And hey, level 3 should be plenty. There's something I didn't really mention or anything, mostly because I personally keep forgetting about it. But it's the number next to my abilities is how much blood you have for your attacks, basically. Each blood code has starts with a certain amount. However, by doing parries and back attack and all that kind of stuff, you just get more max reserves. I'm not entirely sure what dictates your max reserve, how much bonus by how much your max reserve are boosted whenever you get Drain Strike. But so far it's always been just +2, so I think it's just +2. Alright, I have 2 stuff I can grab. Give me shinies. Not much, but $200 is $200. So now I should have at least... First I go into the fight with max health, which is going to be useful, and I should have plenty for just using my special skill. Or at least trying to. Because I had not realized how much, or how little super armor I had while doing that. Major issue with your heavy skill, yours just animation locked for a while. I was mashing there. So I'm dumb, I forgot to... So I don't like the resistances of the Blue Hound, but it has major crush resist, so against Oliver it's pretty great. Hooray! Rest in pieces, my guy. You were too nice for this world. Ooh, spooky red eye. You got it, new base buddy. So, he told us not to touch it. She's just completely out of it, so clearly we must do the most sane thing. Poke. I have the power! And now we are in one of the neater part of the game. And that's kind of one of its worst.
今回だけは勘弁してくれ。それを持っていかれたら俺は
血類を治めるのが保護区に住むレブナントに定められた義務だ。例外はない。
許せ。
I go over why I both really like those and don't.
誰かが犠牲になるしかないんだ。血類がなければ俺たちは
数少ない人間のほとんどがシルバの管理下にある。俺たちのような野良のレブナントは死に物狂いで血類を探さなくちゃならないのさ。たとえ他のレブナントを犠牲にしてでも。
罰が当たったんだろうな、きっと。せめてあいつだけで助かってくれれば。
So what I'm getting here is Oliver ran out of blood bits at one point. He sacrificed a child in order to get some. My interpretation of it is that he used the blood bit for himself rather than for the kid, and did not just do a blood sacrifice of the kid, which even for this game would be kind of fucked up. And then he got captured in order to try and redeem himself. He sent us ahead when he was turning into a revenant.
ここは記憶の残滓。失われた記憶がたゆたう場所。参りましょう。あの階段を進めば元の場所に戻れます。
One of the first reasons why I really like those part of the game, I'm going to do a tiny bit. It should be good. I hope it's not too quiet, but I try to keep the game's loudness at around half of my microphone on the amount of decibel it gives. That should be about... And the definitely good part about those scenes is the music is really nice. It's always the same one, but it's pretty nice.
これはあのロストの過去。いや、まさかそんな。
Yes way.
これはあのロストの過去。
However,
今のは一体。
once we found the new remnants, I will go over why I don't really like them.
刻まれていた。
And why I have a love-hate relationship with them.
まさか俺も一緒に引き込まれるとは。
溶け合ったのですね。あなたと。
信じられない。これもお前の力なのか。ついてきてくれ。今は休める場所が必要だろう。俺はルイ。血類の研究をしている。よろしくな。
Nice to meet you too, best buddy. I'm surprised you're not freaked out by my weird demonic arm. Berserker Vestige Core. Berserker, code honor, color Liver Collins. Features high strength and endurance. Its low high core stock can be offset with heavy armor. You acquired a new blood code. Legitimately one of the best blood code I've unlocked in a game so far. Very heavy weapon focused, but very nice.
ひどい景色だろう。
Hiyo.
クイーンに勝利した後、突然現れた赤い霧。あの霧の出現によってあらゆるものが閉じ込められ、シルバが君臨するレヴェラント社会が誕生した。霧の牢獄、霧に閉じ込められたこの世界はいつしかそう呼ばれるようになった。血を求めて危険な正気の中を歩き回り、何度も死に戻りながら血類を探していく毎日。レヴェナントには血が必要だ。血に乾けばあの化け物ロストに変貌してしまう。お前を捕らえた連中たちもまたロストの恐怖におののき血を求めた。ありきたりのレヴェナントだ。
See? He has tons of replacement marks. He couldn't have spared one for Oliver.
血類の泉を再生させたな。どこでその力を手に入れた？
Ah, no, dude.
記憶の欠損か。他に覚えていること？珍しいな。ほとんどの記憶を失うとは。彼女もそうだったが。しばらくゆっくりするといい。ここは好きに少し疲れが見えるか。話の続きはまた後で行おう。彼女もこんなところに連れてこられて心細いはずだ。声をかけてやるといい。
And now we can meet the rest of the team.
レーブナントってのは何かしら腹に一物抱えてるもんだ。おかしな真似はしないでくれよ。ルイとの話が落ち着くまではしっかり監視させてもらうぜ。
I don't have names yet, but this is Yakumo, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know if he stays that way in the rest of the game, but he's kind of busted up until the cathedral, at least. He's very strong. Same with his blood code.
見ない顔だね。ルイのやつ、また面倒ごとに首突っ込んでるのかい？まあ、別に私には関係ないことだけどね。私はここ、行商人さ。以後、ごひいきに。
And she's the local merchant. She gives you her blood code, and it's all about getting more stuff for stuff, and that's about it. So since I pre-ordered, I believe, the game, I have access to this alternate Mia white version. I'm not going to use it. Now am I really going to use Astria, which is... I'm pretty sure it's a different blood code from the one Mia actually uses, which is a character we're not going to see for a good while. Murasame.
連れてきたってことは何か訳ありなのかな。私はリン・村雨。この拠点で探索のサポートを請け負っているんだ。よろしくね。ちょっと事情があって一緒に戦うことはできないけど、武器の手配や調整に関しては責任持ってやらせてもらうから、自分の家だと思ってゆっくりしていってね。武器の手配や
This is a blacksmith. She's another non-combatant. And we have the lad Davis.
ルイのお眼鏡にかなったレブナントっていうのは、俺はデイビスだ。臨時総督府から真相調査の任を受け、各地を巡っている。念のために言っておくが、面倒事だけは起こしてくれるなよ。その時は俺が動かなくちゃならなくなるんでね。ま、よろしく頼む。もう一度言っておくが、面倒事だけは起こしてくれるなよ。その時は俺が動かなくちゃならなくなるんでね。
Davis is a pretty cool guy, and the stuff he takes care of are the depths, are repeatable dungeons, which we don't have access to right now, but they're a good source of haze and other stuff. So the two blood codes we have are relatively... I don't know if they're the only ones that do this, but they're relatively special in that you can unlock everything from the start. Which I'm going to do. The Berserker blood code is all about being tough and doing lots of damage. I really like the Blow of Madness, which does just empowers your next attack by ton. Iron Wind is also very useful with it, because it lasts for a fairly long time and it pretty drastically reduces the amount of damage you take. Astria is fairly decent because Lightning Strike can be used with a lot of other mana using magic using things. Fine, please. And yeah, the main issue with it is that the two biggest gifts it can give you, which is Guardian Aid. It's basically a better version of the aid ability you have, which is you sacrifice a bit of your health in order to heal your partner. This one is just straight up better because it heals the guy, but it also boosts your defense as well. I think it's for a pretty good amount of time. And if your ally just fucking dies, you get your... I'm not sure if it's all of your regeneration or just one regeneration charge, but you just get them back, so it's pretty damn strong. And then you get those two. Those two you don't use on any other blood code, which is the issue, so if you want them, you're forced to stay on this one. And I will not, because I'm going to learn the skills it can give me, and that's going to be about it. Ooh, shiny. I skipped our dialogue by accident. Whoops.
あなたに寄り添う使命だけ。名前、これに何の意味があるのかは分かりませんが、分かりませんが、そう決められているのです。やるべきことだからやるのです。ですから、私は寄り添い続ける必要があるのです。あなたに。あなたのことを。
Alright, man, it was destiny that were together, I guess.
戦う力がありませんから。血液に刻まれた持ち主のブラッドコードの因子。私にはそれを元の姿に返す力があるようですね。血液を見つけたときは私にお知らせください。あなたの血脈にさらなる力を宿す契機となることでしょう。
I think we need to talk to him.
力を取り込む力、血類の泉を再生する力。お前が見せてくれたものは全て未知だ。申し訳ないが、お前の血を少しもらってもいいか。調べればお前の力が解明できるかもしれない。もらうと言っても献血程度だ。飢えが進行するわけでもないから安心してほしい。分析結果が出るまでしばらくかかる。奥にある部屋で休んでいてくれ。
So personally, as neat as this place is, like cathedral or church as a base is really, it's pretty dope. As much as I like this place, it just makes no sense. This is Coco's car. It's kind of implied she's using it in order to move stuff around. But how? I don't think it's moving. And I'm, in terms of side, I think it could move over the bridge over there. I think the bridge is large enough for her to pass over. But I don't think it's large enough to drive. I don't think the doors over there are large enough for it to drive over. That's one issue. Next, we have Louis here who says, I'm going to study and analyze your blood. Yeah, okay, but where? You don't have any kind of laboratory anywhere. Maybe it's behind one of those doors, but I don't think it is. And I also love that she just have a giant hole in the middle of everything, which I don't think a few drives are going to do much, guys. Like, if there's a wind, there's just going to be a wind in here. And honestly, the best part of everything. Here's bed. She just sleeps here. She doesn't have a room or anything, she just sleeps here. And so we have a bar for some reason. I'm willing to bet that's where one of the future allies' companion is going to be at. Same with this part of the cathedral. But it's just, I mean, yeah, the aesthetics are cool and all, but the more you look at it, the more you realize it would just kind of suck living here. Davis doesn't have Coco's problem with his bike because it's a bike, it moves a lot better throughout a messed up area. He can also put it through the doors over there. Because the other reason why Coco's car, like the implication that she uses it is absolutely hilarious because just look at this place. Look at it. There's no way a car can drive anywhere in there. Anyway.
俺なりに調べさせてもらった。そうしたら驚くべきことが判明したんだ。レベナントには人間とは異なる特殊な血液型がある。その型が力の特性や能力の方向性に大きく関わっている。ところがお前の血には特定の型というものが存在しなかった。正確には壊れていたとも言うべきか。お前の持つ得意な力も 特定の型を持たない、いわばボイド型とも言うべき血に起因していると考える。
So I think that might be a mistranslation?
俺と共に倒したレブナントの力を血液から手に入れたな。その
Or at the very least a plot
ボ
hole.
イド型ゆえの力だろう。
Because I skipped it, but during the tutorial there's some dialogue that said that only you can do that stuff. Only you can gather power from other blood types, and by extension only you should be able to just use vestiges. However, the way he says it, it's like we know it's a thing that's possible, it's just very rare. Which doesn't quite line up.
ボイド型に関する推論を受けて一つ試したいことがある。何？お前にもメリットのあることだ。安心してくれ。今からお前に俺の血を受け渡す。推測が正しければ血を媒介として俺の力がお前のものとなるだろう。さあ、行くぞ。
Munch. And now we have Lewis code. It's a very good small weapon code.
今頃はアイテム売買も武器の強化もできる頃合いだろう。レブナントのもう一つの牙とも言える武器や画像は探索の重要な相棒だ。改めて見直してみるといいだろう。素材が集まったら強化や転生をしてみるといい。確認が終わったらまた声をかけてくれ。前回の続きを話そう。
I think... No, he doesn't say.
お待たせ。どの武器を強化したい？
But from here we can just upgrade weapons. I'm... Okay, we can add it.
それじゃあ、気を。
Oh, I'm on this one, okay. I was confused why I couldn't use the hammer. So now I'm going to show why I both really like and don't like the memory thing. If we go to Lewis code, we can see there are quite a lot of things we can't get due to the fact that they are quote-unquote deficient. The reason for that is that we are going to find a bunch of vestiges out there in the wild. And those vestiges are going to be handed over to Io in order to get more information about the character's life and also unlock those gifts. The problem with that is it completely breaks up the pace of the game. It's a very neat idea in concept because it's kind of an interactive cutscene where they can do a lot of stuff with in terms of the presentation and everything, which honestly that's probably why I like them so much. They're fairly creative in the way they present information most of the time. The issue is each of them is something like 3 or 4 minutes long, sometimes even longer. And once you found them in the wild, either you find them, and as soon as you find them, you go back to the main base to talk to Io in order to unlock stuff. Which, it's a complete break in the pace of the game because you drop everything in order to go back, talk to her, and return to the field and everything has respawned. Or it's a break in the game where you explore the entire region, you grab every single vestige, you find a boss, or once you have everything and you decide, yeah, I can't beat the boss, so I'm just going to head back to the main base in order to buy item, level my weapon, that kind of stuff. It's something like 15 minutes, something along those lines of cutscenes, where you kind of just slowly walk forward, wait for a few lines of dialogue to be said, and then walk forward again. So I'm very of two mind on them.
前に見た記憶の内容を覚えているか？あれがこの世界の日常だ。
Overall, I would say they are a plus for the game.
残った人間の多くがシルバに保護されたため、レブナントは血の代替物である血類を飲むことで血の渇きを癒してきた。だが、形あるものはいつか必ず壊れてしまうように、血類を生み出す泉もまた枯れていき、徐々にその数を減らしていった。シルバによる血類の徴収と分配による秩序の維持もそろそろ限界が近づいている。この世界には必要なんだ。分け隔てなく平等に分け与えられるほどの血類が。そのために俺たちは霧の牢獄を探索し、血類の研究を続けてきたが、レブナントをさらなる上に誘う正気の存在が調査の進展を阻み、頭を悩ませていた。だがようやく可能性が見えた。お前の力があれば、過酷な戦いにお前を巻き込むことになる。それでも俺たちにはお前が必要なんだ。協力してくれるか？
Not much of a choice, my guy.
ありがとう。
交渉成立だな。よし。じゃあたった今からお前は俺たちの仲間だ。俺はヤクモ東雲。お前の力楽しみにしてるぜ。
早速今後の方針について説明しておこう。俺たちはここで血類の泉の研究を続けてきた。血類の泉の活動原理、血類の肥大周期や構成要素、その中でいくつか分かったことがある。まずは毛細血管のような管、いわば地脈のようなものが地中に張り巡らされていること。
The game is also much more heavily focused on
地脈の上に群生しているということだ。そして血類と地脈の成分を比較検証した結果、ほぼ同じ
The game is a lot more heavy on the story, I would say, than other Dark Souls-like.
血類の泉は地脈の流れに沿って発生していると推測されるってわ。
I cannot remember the cutscenes to be this long.
血類の源流とも言うべき場所がある。お前の力で正気を晴らし、血類の泉を調査して地脈の流れをたどっていけば、血類の源流にたどり着けるかもしれない。だよな。
まずは旧市街地の調査を進める。早速で悪いが、準備ができ次第出発しよう。
So what I kind of appreciate about Yakumo's introduction with the apple is a implied threat, like I can move this quickly, so I can stab you this quickly.
それじゃあな。
So now we have unlocked the ability to do some
新
exchange.
しい武器が追加できました。武器を鍛えたいときはこんなご時世だからさ。
Which I think, yeah, I have a well-worn
進
tool.
化してすっかり変色しちょうど使ってる道具。
So by giving allies stuff that they like, you will be able to buy quite a few things for them. The more the game progresses, the more stuff you have unlocked, I'm pretty sure. The main thing you can get from them are Chrome. Is basically the... I forget how it's called in Dark Souls. I think it's the Embers, where you imbue a weapon with like special property in order to change its scaling and that kind of stuff.
それじゃあ気を。
よ
For the allies that actually can accompany you in the field, you can also get their weapon, their personal weapon. And I've never played with the system enough to be able to do anything about that. Oh yeah, so in terms of this place makes no sense. There's some hot springs for some reason here. Like, yes, we have hot springs. Oh. I didn't know you could just gather your lost haze at a hot spring. Okay, so that's just... you can watch the cutscenes. But yeah, we just have hot springs and cathedral for some reason. And a tiny small thing the game didn't make super clear and confused me for a bit when I came back to this. You can't leave through here. How do you leave the home base? You teleport. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. So yeah, you kind of just teleport places. Which means that Revenants are just able to teleport, and that's part of what they can do. Which is both very funny and kind of confusing. Why?
おう、あんたらもこの辺を探索してるのか。俺は行商人でな、探索しながら嗜好品を売り歩いてるんだ。 ここらは最近正気が薄くなっただろう。危ねえと思いつつ探りに来ちまったよ。しかし探索者と出会うなんて久々だな。これも何かの縁だ。一つ真相の地図を譲ろう。しばらくはこの辺にいるつもりだ。何か商品が欲しければ声をかけてくれ。
So now we have a map to the depths.
旧世代の資材を持ってるなら嗜好品と交換するよ。
So this guy just sells you friendship material, basically. I have no idea why, but I kind of want to try those out. These flakes of garlic coated in chocolate give out a scent that tickles the nose, and were once popular for their addictive flavor. I'm reasonably sure this would be absolutely disgusting, but I kind of want to try them. So now that we have access to the depths, I'm going to go directly to the depths. Because might as well do it now, because it's kind of very funny. Not the depths themselves, but what we find over there.
確かにこれは真相の地図だ。もしここへ行きたければ俺に言ってくれ。案内しよう。今確認できている真相。ここから先は
Den of Darkness.
用心しろよ。
よろしく頼む。
And so the depths all work roughly the same way. You have a few branching paths, and you need to go through them in order to get keys, which will allow you to access the boss of the area. Chemical lights are kind of just stuff you drop on the floor in order to know, oh, I've been over there before. They don't have much other purposes. Ah. I see. No. But depending on what blood value you're using, which is your armor, you get different special attacks. And also different parries with different parry windows. I'm really sure you're immortal while you're parrying. And also different parry range, that kind of stuff. The chain has a fairly, as far as I can tell, a fairly generous parry window. Oh, nice. Right, so I was kind of focused on the fight, so we didn't actually get the explanation for those, but those are the equivalent of just an NPC invasion in Dark Souls, where instead of just one strong guy, it's a it's an enemy rush, more or less. Usually with quite a few waves culminating in quite a strong one. So again, the next enemy I'm going to show off why I really like Blow of Madness. So against this guy... Okay, so he's dead, so now I'm going to do it against this guy. This guy, it's like 500 points of damage, which is pretty good. However, if I use Blow of Madness, 900. It's almost double the damage. And the nice thing about it that it doesn't really run out. It's until your next attack, and I can just use it now, and it's not really going to run out ever until I find something to slap for a lot of damage. Like this guy. I don't know why, but the game really does not want to give me drop attacks. And I was lucky his sword strike did not actually hurt me, which I was surprised. Now let's learn a bit about Dens of the depths, rather, not the depths. This is just the Den of Darkness, not the... I mixed up the two. The nice thing about... Well, the thing about... I don't know if it's nice or anything about the depths is that you have technically 3 bosses. This is one of them, where it just tells you the name out of one of the enemies around here, which is Snouted Wanderer. And the objective is just to kill that guy. And I'm playing terribly. Okay, so I cannot parry that. That's what you get trying to be fancy. Trying to be fancy and do parries and stuff, but yeah, no, that... It was not to be. Let me check here. So generally the way it works that those are mini-bosses, to be completely honest. They're just enemies. They're not even stronger or anything, just enemies that serve as bosses. Mini-bosses, that is. They might give you a bit more haste, but I'm not sure. Acquire gifts. Oh, I have everything. Ah, this one I didn't have the funny fight. No, I have precision that's not equipped. Be gone. So the skill unequipped is like a super attack, but it uses a lot of Ichor, which is the mana, and I think it uses some of your health as well, so I never use them. I like my blood inside of my body, not outside. Thank you very much. So going through the depths also will sometimes give you pre-upgraded weapons. In this case, it's a bayonet devourer, which I think means it's a bayonet which, when you use it, will give you better... What's the word? Oh, that was complete failure on my part. Amazing. I am the Axeman. I forget what I was about to say. It wasn't important. Oh yeah, Bayonet Devourer. I think the way it works at Bayonet, the Devourer keyword gives it better ichor generation when you just stab people with it. Do have a path this way I didn't get. I will go. I knew you weren't alive. You weren't dead. My lunge attack hurts. So regen inducer, the thing that just been sent into storage, is just kind of a thing that gives you, that works like a regen charge. I don't tend to use them much, mostly because I don't like relying on items that are eventually going to just run out. So now we have both keys. We don't even have to go this way and fight whatever's in here. Bonk. I'm kind of annoyed that that weapon hasn't dropped. So one of my favorite weapons so far has been the halberds, which have the same kind of sweep sort of moveset as the axe, but much faster and with far longer range. In my previous go at the game in order to see if I still liked it enough to stream it, or if I just wanted to play it by myself, it dropped while I was in the car park. Enough. I'm kind of sad it hasn't dropped. And now for the funniest part of the depths. The bosses at the end of each depth dungeon is just a rematch with one of the previous bosses you fought, at least for all of the depths I've gone against so far. Which means we just get to fight Oliver again. It's literally just him except monochrome. It's just so funny to me. I don't know why, but the fact that Oliver is apparently just a dude you can find anywhere and fight again and again and again, it's just so funny. Oh, damn it. So one of the more annoying things about the game is buffs. Not because not because it's annoying that you have buffs or anything like that. It's going to be a triple. The annoying part is the way they work. So long as the buff is active, you cannot refresh it. You have to wait until it's finished. Anyway, one of those slightly annoying things where I get the idea is you don't want the player to accidentally waste some ichor on refreshing something they already have active. But sometimes you just go for a skill because you know it's going to be gone in a few seconds, but you can't actually do it. And this tunnel is basically this game equivalent of the ladder. It's just Bloodsucker instead of Snake Eater or something. It really just feels like it doesn't end. I'm honestly not sure why they decided to make it this long. I really feel like it could have been much shorter. I'm useful. I'm gonna check something real quick. Actually, no. I'll do that after the stream, or as we end the stream. There. Yakumo has a pretty strong. Fine, please. It's getting late. Stitch has pretty strong blood gifts if you're going for a heavy weapon build, which at least for now I'm going to go with. Alright, we have found one of Louis' Vestiges.
相変わらず瓦礫が多い。
Whee! I missed. He did not. I thought I could parry it, but apparently not. Anyway, I'm trying to get my ichor up. Please stop killing. Ow. This one has a fairly... This parry has a fairly sizable window to parry, but it has a very long startup. Love you, Louis. I really do. Ah, good enough. I really should just go for backstab instead of parrying. But at the same time, I kind of want to learn how to parry correctly, because it's just fun. There we go. And more or less one-shots most enemies. For the most part, it's a lot more useful against larger, stronger enemies and small guys, but yeah. Also, very useful against shielded guys, because they can parry you if you try to mash your way through a fight with them. Oh, there's another one. Oh, the camera doesn't like me. Think? Yep. Boink, boink. Large lady. Which, shockingly, you can still backstab. Since a backstab is less you stabbing somebody in the back with your weapon and more doing some weird magic thing and stabbing them with a special move, It's a lot more accommodating in what sort of enemies you can backstab.
Oi, どうした？大丈夫？おいルイ、この匂い。
ああ、人間の血だ。脱走者か。
あの女、どこに逃げやがった？お前ら、ここで何をしていた？
説明する義理はない。
ほう、だったらよ、どうしてお前からうまそうな人間の匂いがしてくるんじゃ。あれは俺たちのものだ。少しでも手を出せば容赦はしない。わかったな。
In dick.
生の血はやっぱ強烈だな。そっちは大丈夫か？さてどうするよ。このままじゃあいつが人間を見つけるのも時間の問題だ。
答えは決まってる。
オッケー。化け物に食われてないことを祈ろうぜ。
The plan is we find her and we save her, I think. Well, I say I think, but I know that's a plan. I've played the game before. No, that's not a buff. The voices like this means there's a vestige somewhere. But it seems I've missed an item up here. Yes, I did. Nothing major, but items are items. Actually, what time is it? Almost midnight for me. I'm gonna go until the next area, I think. It's not super far, so we'll see. And next time we'll do... And next time we'll do... the end of this area. You just jumped on. We'll do the rest of this area and the next area as well. I just find it really funny that the explanation, why are there so many ladders everywhere? It's just, oh no, the government built them there. Which honestly is pretty baller of the government, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why I try to parry the dogs. I really don't. So something that's a bit annoying in this area is the amount of dead lost everywhere. You're never really sure if they're dead or not dead, so you kind of just go for all of them. Because sometimes, like this guy, they're still alive. If they have a weapon stuck in them, usually it's safe. Stab, stab, stab. So those red guys are shockingly good at kicking your ass. I would not recommend fighting them. Hi. The red guys, that is. The fight over there is actually pretty easy to fight overall. Now time to get one of the things I hated myself for not grabbing the second time I played this game. I don't even know if the first time I played it I found it. So I mentioned I don't really like the regeneration. That's because in the end it doesn't actually heal that much. But that's also because the last time I played I did not find this thing. Wait, no, that's an extension factor. Dang it. The extension factor is just how many times you can use it. Not... I forget the name of it, but there's a version of it that is how much healing it does. Head of blood is used without the lost. So that's the intro of the invasion. Oh, I don't have... Okay, I was trying to activate one of my powers, but I don't have anything. I didn't have any ichor. And I tried to parry, but to no avail. So far, the sort of veil I've had the least trouble parrying stuff with is definitely just the claws. 'So like I said, patrol isn't actually that dangerous. Yeah, I think they have the easiest. It's a case of... It's a very easy parry window, but it's also a very short one. Whereas... it has a short startup, short window, but you're not stuck in them for super long. Whereas when you use this, you're just stuck there. Because I'm just mashing. Whereas, yeah, just a lot faster. But also a much shorter window. Okay, I'm gonna stay on the... I think it's... I don't actually remember when I started using the other one. Kind of wish I could tell Louis to go fight that. Oh, There's a dog. So the very funny part about those dogs, that technically those dogs are humans. Hi. Whee! Point. Yeah, so those big ladies are literally just Oliver, but as a regular enemy, because I can use the exact same move as him. What she was about to do was a blood explosion centered on herself. If you're just going to scream for people to come. The lunge is very good because it does a ton of damage, but the main issue with it, that's why it does a lot of damage and has a ton of super armor. It does not do any damage reduction. And since my damage reduction was off, I just hate a ton of damage. Like, I ate all of the damage. Okay, so I did not remember this place being so close. As you may expect, we have a big inexplicable pit, meaning there's only one thing that we must do. Eggs drop down. Something that's very funny about this game, however, is that if I wanted to, I could just cheese this entire drop. If I line myself up properly in order to drop straight... Oh, there's tons of items. But one of the ways you can cheese this is if you fall straight down onto the thing you can see at the very bottom over there. That's what you're supposed to reach in order to get there, to get at the bottom. Once you're at the bottom, you activate a lever and you can go back up. And the path is unlocked. The way you're supposed to do it is just drop on each of those spires, like in the Well of Demon Souls 2, if I remember correctly. And there's just plenty of places where you're supposed to do that in Demon Souls games, and just Souls game in general. However, if you fuck up like I did, you don't get to cheese the game because you screw up so bad you completely missed everything. Ow. Machines. Oh, that reminds me, actually. Yeah, right. The reason the Juggernaut Hammer, the game has boss weapons, but you just get them. So now we have Oliver's Hammer, and it's a big smashy hammer. Which honestly has the exact same moveset as the axe, just slightly smashier. So that's 428 to 490. So honestly, it's a pretty big increase. Ow. Oh, and if you're not going to attack me... Much bonking, heavy damage. It has a slightly less predictable... That's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, the sweep is slightly less predictable. That's still not what I wanted to do. My shins. As you can see, Louis just teleported here. That's the trick in order to just cheese this entire place. You don't... You just aim for the thing at the very bottom. You fall down there, you die. And I think I've already shown that. If you die, your allies can bring you back to life using some of their HP. You just fall the way down in order to die. And he delivers next to you and he heals you. I think I've missed an item. Trying to figure out if I've missed. No, I haven't missed it yet. Should be yes. Machines. Pretty sure I can just... Oh. Yes. As I said, you can just cheese this place. Louis is somewhere up here, and he just... Oh shit, she died. You're not healed. Oh. I should have work on that. I'm pretty sure we've got everything. No, it's nothing really amazing. It's mostly just lost souls, some upgrade material, and some mastery materials, which I'm probably not going to use. I think I've mastered everything from this gift vestige. I'm pretty sure though that loading areas, those fairly long tunnels. But the city was just huge compared to... The tunnel to the city was just huge compared to this. Big hole. Welcome to the swamp.
この霧の中を突っ切っていけってか迷子にならないといいが
Thankfully, it is not a poisonous swamp.
ここで休憩を取ろう。
ああ、これか。握り飯って言ってな。携帯食の一種だ。まあ、レブナントが飯を食ったところで何の意味もないんだけどな。血に乾くことはあっても腹が減ることはない。でも、だからこそ食うことに意味がある。戦って血をすすって殺されて生き返ってまた戦って。俺たちの日常は簡単に言えばこの繰り返しだ。ただその度に忘れちまいそうになる。自分が人間だった頃のことを。もし俺が人間だった頃のことを完全に忘れちまったとしたら、それはもう俺じゃない。俺の姿をした何かだ。外見はレブナントでも中身はロストと変わらない。それじゃ意味がないだろ。俺はレブナントになる前軍隊に所属していたんだが、任務ではいつもこいつを食っててな。まあ思い出の味ってやつだ。クソみたいな毎日だったが、忘れちゃいけない大切な仲間がたくさんいた。大してうまくもないんだが、この味はあいつらの顔を思い出させてくれる。つまりこいつは俺が俺らしくあるために欠かせない心強い相棒ってわけだ。
But I think you're just bad at making onigiris in that case. Because onigiris are delicious.
この先に血類の泉がある。方向感覚を失うなよ。この霧だ。一度はぐれたら二度と合流できないと思え。
Now, each area has a sort of theme when it comes to its vestiges. The city we're in is all about Louis and the vestiges of his life. And this place, as you might be guessing because of Nyakumo's big speech, is going to be all about piecing together Yakumo's past. And now welcome to, shockingly not my least favorite part of the game. I still don't like it, because you can't see anything. "99% of the enemies are those giant guys, which is a pain in the butt to parry. And in order to find all of the items in this area, it's an absolute nightmare because they are everywhere and you can't see them. But shockingly, it's not actually as bad as Cathedral. I really don't know what I hate so much about the Cathedral, but I just do not like it. I mean, it's a fitting place to listen to a TNMT lore dump. Boink, boink. I don't... Oh yeah, no. When I redid this part last time, I was just listening to some Poor Hammer podcast. Just because I knew I would need... I usually listen to YouTube video when I'm playing my game. My games. I just remember that this was going to be a nightmare to be in if I didn't have something to help me pass the time as I run around like a headless chicken trying to figure out where exactly I'm supposed to go. But anyway, I'm actually going to scroll the stream here. My throat is starting to hurt a little, and it's getting pretty late. It's going to be midnight for me, so that's as good a time as any to stop. And ooh, I see a shiny thing. Which means we're gonna do a few... Bookkeeping is the one I was looking for. I'm gonna do some bookkeeping, and not going to be massive. The first thing I'm going to do is where's Yakumo?
今のうちにお前に渡しておきたいものがあるんだ。俺のブラッドコードだ。これがあれば、俺がいない時でもお前の力になれるだろう。信頼の証ってやつだ。さあ、受け取ってくれ。
And this is Atlas, aka Berserker but better. And now that we have it, I think we can have Yakumo as our partner. Which partner? Yeah. So the reason why Yakumo is both has a very good blood code and is a very good ally is because it's Berserker except better. It has Tormenting Blast, which is the lunge, except just generally better since it's faster. I think it does a bit less damage, but it does less damage because doesn't go as far, but it's faster, so you're less likely to get absolutely dunked on. And since it's a swipe rather than a smash, it will catch more enemies in it. Guard drain rating up. You're supposed to guard with it, I never guard. So yeah. And then you have Full Blood Barrier. Full Blood Barrier just says, I don't take damage from this hit. Yakumo will continuously cast it on you. And you can just use it as well, so it's really good. And then you have Flashing Fang, which is Blow of Madness, except I think it costs a bit more. I don't know if it does, if it boosts Blow of Madness, the attack quite as much as Blow of Madness, but it stacks. If you use both of them at the same time, which is really expensive, it does a lot of damage all at once. Anyway, as you can guess, I'm going to be hopping on the Atlas train. Part of me wants to save up for Impact Wave, but I really shouldn't. Oh, she does give me her blood code, okay.
私のブラッドコードもよかったら使っておくれよ。選別というわけじゃないけど、あんたにはうちの乗客として商品をたくさん買ってもらいたいからね。先行投資ってやつさ。
It was a very good blood code as well, for completely different reasons. It's honestly kind of not good at all in terms of its stats. I think it's Mercury. It's B, C++, and it doesn't have a lot of health, not a lot of stamina or anything. It's not super good. But the thing with it is it has amazing gifts. It has Sprinter, which is you can just run further with your stamina. It technically has some anti-thunder stuff, and you can do thunder stuff. But the really good thing is it can give you anti-poison and anti-slow. Slow is the single worst status effect I have ever seen in any game. So you see how quickly I'm working right now. I'm really working slowly because I'm working, that's it. I'm not running, I'm not doing anything. When you're afflicted by slow, you're stuck at that speed. You can only move at that speed. I don't think you can even do dodge rolls. And the boss of the area we're in just smashes you with endless slow. And just in general, being able to get rid of status effects is really nice. Unfortunately, we can't really get the thing that boosts our haze, which is honestly kind of neat in terms of not giving you access to basically the equivalent of the, I can't remember the ring, but the ring that gives you more souls in Dark Souls, where you know it exists, you know you can find it, but you don't have access to it just yet. Oh wait, I can max out the... So, unfortunately we've reached the point in the game where you need to kill a lot of enemies in order to master your stuff. I don't believe having multiple things to master at once slow down the rate any, it's just slow. So unfortunately for now I'm just going to be stuck on that. I really wish I could go with Berserker a bit longer or use Atlas some. Just so I can start having my proper combat build, but that's not happening. Weirdly enough, you can still use the two heavy weapons with it.
みんなの探索のおかどの武器を強化したい？
Oh, I did get the...
それじゃあ気をつけてね。
I didn't realize I got the polearm.
真相っていうのはクイーン討伐後に発生したあの霧にまた同じ時期に正気やロストも湧き出してきて追い詰められた人類がさらなる資源の獲得のため人類には新たな探索場所としての今確認できている真相はこれだけだ。
So before we end the stream, I'm just going to take care of this. And also take care of the... My plan is whenever I have a map to the depths, I take care of it at the end of the stream, and I will also take care of... what do you call it? Recollections and the vestiges at the end of streams as well, just so they don't use up too much time.
敵だ。近いぞ。いつでもどうぞ。
Now,
サンキュー。使えるもんはいただいとかないと。
actually, now that I think about it, it's not what I want.
納得いくまで準備しな。ロストが飛び出てくる。ぶちかましてやる。
Now, so unsurprisingly, blood bullets from guns do not actually count as physical damage, it counts as blood damage, so you need the fighter thing for them. Ah, right. I probably should not have upgraded the heavy axe so much now that we have the heavy axe fortification. It's a weapon that has been upgraded with the fortification thing, which means it has much better base stats at the cost of being a lot heavier. And it does a lot of damage. I thought it was in a different dungeon, not this one. I might just one-shot the boss here. I did. Okay. My preparations were definitely useful, I swear. It totally wasn't completely useless because I just chain backstabbed everything. When I said those guys are just regular enemies, I really meant it. But yeah, I think you can see why I like the unharmed so much. It's good to use a fair bit of damage. Not quite as much as if I was using the big hammer, I'm sure. But it's pretty fast, and that means you can dodge quite a bit. It's also not as heavy as a hammer or two-handed swords. Think of the two-handed sword. I just do not like the two-handed swords in this game. The ones we have right now have just movesets I do not vibe with. Okay, so that's the boss. I think that means... Okay, now I remember it. Well, there is a vestige here. The vestige, as soon as we grab it, is just going to start spawning. Big hammer. I'm honestly shocked I managed to parry that one. I thought I parried way too early for it. Yeah. I didn't get that parry off, but I somehow managed to avoid anyway. So my cat is now circling me and asking for pets. Huh? Meow? Meow? Bah. Sounds of a man talking to his cat. Oh yeah, no, Yakumo is much better than Louis. I'm going to be completely honest. Louis is a terrible partner to have. And she's scratching at stuff, so I'm probably gonna have to stop soon. Which is good because I was trying to stop soon. She's telling me it's time to go to bed. Go to bed, you idiot. Please, I'm begging you, go to bed. I really don't know why I keep accidentally using the thing that makes you gets rid of the... Come here. Gets rid of the snow. And as you can see, yeah, no, Akumo is just... He's a monster. terms of getting everything up and ready, we're not doing too bad. Dead end? Yes. Hmm? I'm not sure I get the joke about my fellow streamer. I go to rest, considering I'm more or less Oh, you mean the cat? Yes, the cat is my fellow streamer. Took a second for the joke to register. So you fight Louis not once, not twice, but thrice in this game. Yeah, no, it took me a second to get the joke. Nobody should ever accuse me of being clever or smart. Mistakes were made. Grave mistakes were made. Present? Your game. Yeah. Thanks, Moasami. Back to on base. Give me a second, my cat seems to have something to say. Never mind, I can't move the mic in order to pick it up. She's not under the desk, so I don't think you guys can hear her. She has not left the desk, so who knows. Oh, never mind, we can't do anything. So I'm just going to end it here. Thank you very much for coming to the stream. Have a good one, and I will see you probably tomorrow or the day after, I think. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream this again. I will be streaming Code Vein, and the stream after next stream will be back to Voices of the Void. And the cat is being very meowy, so I need to stop. And if you've enjoyed the stream, give it a like. Who knows, maybe that way more people will shop. In any case, thanks so much for coming, and have a good one. Bye bye.